Captain Ryan Stone gripped the command chair of the Earth Defense Force ship Defiance as they moved deeper into the region that every alien species feared. His brown eyes stayed fixed on the glowing tactical screen showing their position. 3 long months had passed since that first day when their deep space sensors picked up something impossible, a massive alien ship lurking at the very edge of human space. "Captain, all our systems are working perfectly," called out Lieutenant Kate Miller from her position at the communications console. Her fingers danced across the controls as she ran another diagnostic. "Whatever is making their advanced technology fail isn't bothering our equipment at all." Stone nodded slowly. The alien vessel called Ethereal Harmony floated ahead of them like a dead whale in the cosmic ocean. Its beautiful crystal-like hull that once gleamed with inner light now sat dark and powerless. The ship was enormous, easily 10 times the size of the Defiance but right now it was as helpless as a newborn. Through weeks of careful listening and code breaking, the human crew had learned incredible things about their mysterious visitors. The ship's captain was named Zeph Cora, and he belonged to a species called a Vorthak. His crew included beings from 12 different alien races, each one bringing their own special technologies and abilities. Some could speak to each other using only their minds. Others had bodies that could naturally connect with their ship's computer systems. A few could even bend space and time with their thoughts. But none of that mattered here. This part of space, what the aliens called the silent sector, was like poison to their advanced abilities. Every piece of quantum technology failed. Every psychic power went silent. Every biomechanical system shut down. Commander Jake Hayes walked over to Stone's chair, his boots clicking on the metal deck. At 35, Hayes was one of the youngest commanders in the fleet, but his sharp mind had earned him respect throughout the service. "Sir, they are trying to send out a distress signal. They are using basic radio waves, the kind of technology we used back in the 20th century. Stone couldn't help but smile. There was something deeply satisfying about this moment. For as long as humans had looked up at the stars and wondered if they were alone, they had imagined meeting beings far more advanced than themselves. Every movie, every book, every dream about first contact assumed that aliens would be smarter, faster, and more powerful than humanity. Primitive to them, maybe, Stone said, his voice carrying a hint of pride. But those primitive radio waves work just fine for us. Launch Probe 7, and see if we can talk to them. It's time to show our new friends how humans deal with a so-called dead zone." The bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency. Lieutenant Beth Parker began preparing the communication probe at her science station. Her red hair was pulled back in a tight bun as she focused on the delicate work of programming the device. The probe would need to translate between human languages and whatever the aliens were speaking. "Probe launched, Captain," announced Ensign Tom Bradley from the weapons control station. On the main view screen, they could see the small device moving toward the alien ship, its simple chemical thrusters pushing it forward. Stone studied the alien vessel more carefully. Even powerless, it was beautiful in a way that human ships could never match. Its hull seemed to be made of living crystal that normally pulsed with energy. Strange organic curves flowed along its surface where human engineers would have placed straight lines and right angles. This was a ship built by minds that thought very differently from humans. "Captain," Miller called out, excitement creeping into her voice. "We're getting a response. It's weak, but they are trying to communicate using mathematics and basic physics principles." "Put it through the speakers," Stone ordered. The bridge filled with a strange series of beeps and tones. It sounded almost musical, like a song made of numbers. The universal translators that these aliens normally use had failed completely in this region of space, forcing them to go back to the most basic form of communication possible. Dr. Lisa Chen, the ship's science officer, looked up from her computer. "Sir, I think I can work out what they are trying to say. Give me a few minutes to run this through our language programs." Stone walked to the front viewport and stared out at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, humanity's home world with its blue oceans and green continents. For the first time in history, humans were the most primitive species in the room. In this strange region of space, their simple technology made them the most powerful. Dr. Lisa Chen barely slept for 3 straight days as she worked in the small linguistics laboratory deep inside the Defiance star. Coffee cups and food wrappers covered every surface around her workstation. Her tired eyes stared at streams of data flowing across multiple computer screens. The ship maintained a safe distance from the alien vessel, while she tried to crack the most important code in human history. The aliens had been trying to talk to them using the only method that still worked in this strange region of space: basic radio signals and simple mathematics. Their fancy universal translation devices that could instantly convert any language had gone completely silent the moment they entered what they called the quantum null zone. "Captain Stone, I think I'm starting to understand their communication patterns," Chen called through the intercom system. Her voice was hoarse from exhaustion but filled with excitement. "They're using prime numbers and basic physics equations to build a foundation for language. It's actually brilliant for beings who normally rely on technology that reads minds and translates thoughts instantly." On the bridge, Lieutenant David Brooks sat at his monitoring station watching the alien ship's energy readings. The massive crystalline vessel that should have been blazing with power was now running on barely enough energy to keep its crew alive. "Captain, their power systems are operating at maybe 5% of normal capacity. Whatever invisible force field exists in this sector is completely shutting down everything they consider high technology." Brooks had studied alien technology reports for years, dreaming of the day humans might encounter advanced civilizations. The aliens used quantum computers that could process information faster than light. They had engines that folded space to travel between stars in minutes instead of years. Some species could even manipulate matter at the atomic level using only their thoughts. But none of that worked here. In this region of space, all their miraculous abilities were useless. Captain Stone walked from station to station, checking on his crew's progress. The weight of this moment pressed down on his shoulders. First contact with an alien species was supposed to be humanity's greatest achievement, but it was happening under the strangest possible circumstances. "And yet here we are," he said to his bridge crew, "running our good old nuclear fusion reactors and electromagnetic communication systems at full power. Funny how things work out." The main view screen suddenly flickered and stabilized. Dr. Chen's voice came through the speakers with barely contained excitement. "Captain, I've got something. The first successful translation is coming through now." The bridge fell completely silent. Every human on the ship had been waiting for this moment. The alien captain's voice came through the speakers, processed through their communication systems. The words were simple but carried enormous meaning. "How are you functioning in the quantum null zone?" Stone stepped forward and activated the communication system. His heart pounded as he prepared to speak the first words from humanity to another intelligent species. "Welcome to human space, Captain Zefkora. Out here, we don't rely on quantum anything." The response took several minutes to travel between the ships and be translated back. When it came, the alien captain's confusion was clear even across the language barrier. "You function without quantum technology? How do you process information? How do you manipulate matter? How do you travel between stars?" Lieutenant Kate Miller worked at her console to help coordinate the conversation. She had joined the Earth Defense Force hoping to protect humanity from unknown threats. She never imagined she would be part of the team making peaceful contact with aliens. "Captain, they're sending us technical specifications. I think they want to understand how our systems work." Dr. Chen appeared on the bridge, her hair messy and her uniform wrinkled from days of non-stop work. "Captain, this is incredible. They are showing us their normal technology, and it's like nothing we ever imagined. But they seem genuinely amazed that we can function using what they consider primitive methods." Stone studied the technical displays showing both human and alien systems side by side. The alien technology was elegant and beautiful, using the fundamental forces of the universe in ways humans had never dreamed possible. But it all required conditions that simply didn't exist in this region of space. Human technology looked crude by comparison. Their nuclear reactors smashed atoms together using brute force. Their computers processed information using simple electrical circuits. Their communication systems pushed radio waves through space using raw electromagnetic power. "Send them our technical specifications," Stone ordered. "Let them see how we built everything from the ground up using basic physics and engineering. Maybe they'll understand why we're not impressed by their dead zone." The hours that followed were filled with the most amazing exchange of information in human history. The aliens shared data about their incredible quantum technologies and psychic abilities. Humans showed the mechanical engineering, chemical propulsion, and electromagnetic systems that worked reliably anywhere in the universe. Slowly, both sides began to understand something remarkable. The aliens had evolved along a path that gave them incredible power but made them dependent on specific conditions. Humans had taken a different route, building everything using simple tools and determination. In normal space, the aliens were gods. But here in the silent sector, humans were the masters of their environment. 3 weeks had passed since the humans and aliens first started talking to each other. The crew of the Defiance had settled into a comfortable routine of exchanging information and learning about each other's cultures. Captain Stone was reviewing translation reports when suddenly every alarm on the ship started screaming at once. The peaceful atmosphere on the bridge shattered instantly. Red warning lights flashed across every control panel. Lieutenant Kate Miller's fingers flew over her sensors as she tried to understand what were happening. Her face went pale as the data came in. Captain, I'm reading massive fleet movements just outside our sector boundary. We're talking about hundreds of ships from multiple alien species. Stone felt his stomach drop. He had hoped that first contact would remain peaceful, but something in Miller's voice told him their quiet little meeting was about to become much more complicated. How many ships exactly, Lieutenant? Miller's voice was steady despite the shocking numbers she was reading. Sir, I count at least 200 vessels. The largest group appears to be from something called a collective. Their ships are unlike anything in our databases. Dr. Lisa Chen hurried onto the bridge, still carrying data tablet from her ongoing translation work with the aliens. Stone turned to her immediately. Doctor, what do you know about this collective? What's their interest in us? Chen pulled up files on her tablet, her hand shaking slightly as she searched through the information they had gathered from Captain Zethkora's ship. Captain, according to everything the Vorthek have told us, the collective is bad news. They are a hive mind species that thinks and acts as one giant organism. For over 1,000 years, they've been the most powerful military force in the galaxy. The main view screen showed a tactical display of the space around them. Hundreds of red dots were gathering just beyond the boundary of the silent sector. Commander J.K. studied the formation and shook his head grimly. Sir, we're looking at over 200 enemy ships. Our entire Earth Defense Force is maybe 30 vessels total, and most of those are back defending Earth. Stone walked to the center of the bridge, his mind racing through possible strategies. The numbers were overwhelming, but something about this situation felt familiar. Throughout human history, they had faced impossible odds before. David facing Goliath, the 300 Spartans at Thermopylae, the few British pilots during the Battle of Britain. Somehow, humans had always found a way to fight back against overwhelming force. The communication system crackled to life with Captain Zethkora's voice. Even through the mechanical translation, his urgency was clear. Captain Stone, you must listen to me carefully. The collective fleet is mobilizing to attack your world. You must evacuate your entire species immediately. There is nowhere in normal space that you can hide from them. The bridge fell silent as everyone absorbed this information. Lieutenant Beth Parker spoke first, her voice barely above a whisper. Captain, they want to kill everyone on Earth? Every man, woman, and child. Dr. Chen nodded sadly. The collective sees any unknown factor as a threat to galactic stability. They've done this before to other species. When they encounter something new that doesn't fit their understanding of how the galaxy should work, they eliminate it completely. Stone felt anger building in his chest. These aliens wanted to destroy humanity simply because humans were different, because they had built their technology in an unexpected way, because they could function in regions of space that other species considered dead zones. Captain Zethkora, Stone said into the communication system, why does the collective consider us a threat? We haven't attacked anyone. We haven't invaded their territory. All we've done is exist. The alien captain's response came after a long pause. Captain Stone, the collective has maintained galactic order for centuries by ensuring that all species follow predictable patterns. Your species operates using principles that should not work. You function in quantum null zones where all life should be impossible. This makes you an unknown variable in their calculations. Commander Hayes pulled up additional sensor data. Sir, their ships are taking positions around the entire silent sector. They are not just planning to attack us. They are planning to contain us. Make sure nothing gets out. Stone walked to the main view screen and stared out at the stars. Somewhere beyond his sight, hundreds of alien warships were preparing to commit genocide against his species. The thought filled him with cold determination. Lieutenant Miller, send a priority message to Earth Command. Tell Admiral Davis that we have a situation that requires a full mobilization of Earth Defense Forces. Tell her that we're about to find out what humanity is really made of when our backs are against the wall. Miller's fingers moved quickly over her controls. Message sent. Captain, Admiral Davis is requesting more details. Stone took a deep breath. Tell her that an alien hive mind with 1,000 years of military dominance wants to exterminate humanity because we're too different to fit into their idea of galactic order. And tell her that we're going to show them exactly why that was a mistake. The bridge crew looked at their captain with a mixture of fear and determination. They were outnumbered almost 10 to 1 by enemies with technology far beyond human understanding. But they were human, and humans had never been good at surrendering when faced with extinction. The moment had finally arrived. Admiral Lisa Davis stood on the bridge of the massive dreadnought Constitution watching her tactical display as a collective war fleet began crossing into the silent sector. 200 alien warships moved forward in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with energy fields and advanced armor that had never been defeated in battle. Then something beautiful happened. One by one, the alien ships went dark. Their energy shields flickered and died. Their quantum weapons powered down. Their biomechanical hulls stopped regenerating. The invisible field that filled this region of space stripped away everything that made a collective fleet invincible, leaving behind metal shells drifting helplessly in the void. All units, this is Admiral Davis. Her voice carried across the communication channels to every human ship in the small fleet. You are witnessing something that hasn't happened in 1,000 years. The collective's advanced technology is completely offline. Target their engine sections with railgun volleys. Follow up with nuclear-tipped torpedoes. The human fleet was tiny compared to the alien armada. Only 28 ships against 200. But those 28 ships were running at full power while their enemies floated like sitting ducks. Davis had spent her entire military career preparing for battles she never expected to win. Today felt different. Captain Ryan Stone, now commanding a squadron of destroyers, led the first attack run. His ship Defiance accelerated toward the alien formation alongside the destroyers Ranger Thunderbolt and Storm Star. Remember everyone, these ships are built like beautiful glass castles. Without their energy shields, they are fragile. Make every single shot count. The collective fleet were commanded by something calling itself Prime Node Zathol. It was part of a hive mind that had conquered most of the galaxy through superior technology and ruthless efficiency. For 1,000 years, no enemy had been able to stand against their quantum disruptors and regenerating bioships. But none of that mattered now. Stone's destroyer opened fire first. The rail gun mounted along the ship's spine launched a tungsten projectile at incredible speed. The metal slug punched through the alien ship's hull like it was made of paper, tearing through internal systems and causing massive explosions. Direct hit on target Alpha. Their hull integrity is gone. Across the battlefield, similar scenes played out as human kinetic weapons tore through alien ships that were designed to deflect energy beams and quantum attacks. The collective had never faced simple physical projectiles fired at high velocity. Their defensive systems had no idea how to respond. Lieutenant Colonel Amy Walker piloted her experimental fighter craft Banshee through the alien formations. The small ship darted between massive alien vessels, firing armor-piercing rockets and conducting strafing runs. This is Walker to all fighter squadrons. Their point defense systems are completely offline. We're like wolves hunting sheep out here. Human fighters swarmed around the alien capital ships. Pilots who had trained their entire lives for dogfights against human opponents found themselves facing enemies that couldn't fight back effectively. The alien ships tried to track the fast-moving fighters with mechanical weapons, but their targeting systems were too slow and clumsy. The battle was going better than anyone had dared hope, but the collective still had overwhelming numbers. Even with their technology failing, they began adapting their tactics. Some ships tried ramming maneuvers. Others launched primitive projectile weapons. A few managed to restore partial power to backup systems. That's when the humans showed the galaxy something it had forgotten existed. Captain Brian Mitchell commanded the heavy cruiser Yorktown Star. His ship had taken severe damage from a lucky hit by an alien weapon that was still partially functional. Hull breaches were spreading across multiple sections. The engine core was failing. His crew was working desperately to keep life support running. Captain Mitchell to Admiral Davis. His voice came across the communication channel, calm despite his ship's desperate situation. The Yorktown is critically damaged. We're losing atmosphere on multiple decks. But, sir, I have a clear shot at their command vessel. Davis understood immediately what Mitchell was suggesting. Captain, you have over 300 crew members aboard that ship. Yes, I do, and they've all volunteered for this mission. We knew the risks when we signed up to defend Earth. Mitchell's voice was steady as steel. Admiral, my ship is dying anyway. Request permission to set course for ramming speed on their primary command vessel. The communication channel fell silent for a moment. Every human in the fleet understood what they were hearing. Captain Mitchell and his entire crew were offering to sacrifice their lives to win this battle. Permission granted, Captain Mitchell. Godspeed. The Yorktown turned toward the massive collective command ship. Its engines roared to full power as the dying vessel accelerated directly at the enemy. The alien ship tried to evade, but it was too large and slow. The human cruiser struck the command vessel amidships, both ships disappearing in a brilliant explosion that lit up the battlefield. The destruction of their command ship broke something fundamental in the collective fleet. The hive mind that coordinated their actions was disrupted. Ships began operating independently, making mistakes, getting in each other's way. The perfect formation that had dominated the galaxy for centuries fell apart. Human forces pressed their advantage. More alien ships fell to railgun fire and nuclear torpedoes. Fighter squadrons continued their devastating attacks. Within 6 hours, the mighty collective fleet was either destroyed or retreating in complete disorder. The Battle of the Silent Sector was over. Humanity had won its first victory against a galactic superpower, and the galaxy would never be the same. 6 months had passed since the shocking defeat of the collective fleet, and the entire galaxy was still trying to understand what had happened. The region of space that every alien species had avoided for thousands of years was now buzzing with human activity. Ships moved back and forth carrying supplies, colonists, and researchers to humanity's new frontier outposts. Captain Jennifer Clark stood on the observation deck of the colony ship New Frontier watching as construction robots assembled the first permanent human settlement beyond Earth's solar system. The base was growing rapidly on the surface of a rocky planet that orbited a bright yellow star. Solar panels stretched across the landscape, providing power for the growing community of scientists, engineers, and their families. Admiral Davis, this is Colony Alpha. Clark spoke into her communication device. Our settlement is fully operational now. We have sustainable life support, manufacturing facilities, and defensive systems all running on standard human technology. But, Admiral, we've made an incredible discovery. Back on the flagship Constitution Admiral Davis listened intently to the report. The victory against the collective had made her famous throughout human space, but she was more interested in the strategic implications of what humanity had learned. Go ahead, Captain Clark. What have you found? Clark pulled up a star chart on a tablet, showing the local region of the galaxy. Red zones were marked throughout the area, each one representing a region that alien civilizations considered uninhabitable. Admiral, there are 17 more dead zones scattered throughout this section of the galaxy. Every single one of them has been avoided by alien species for thousands of years. We could establish bases in all of them. The implications were staggering. Humanity could build an empire in regions of space that no other species could effectively occupy. They would have secure bases that enemy fleets couldn't attack with their advanced weaponry. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Dr. Rachel Morgan was leading the most important research project in human history. Her laboratory had become the meeting place for the first joint human-alien scientific team. Representatives from 12 different species worked alongside human researchers, trying to understand the mysterious force that created the dead zones. Ladies, gentlemen, and honored alien colleagues, Dr. Morgan addressed a mixed audience of humans and aliens gathered in the conference room. After months of intensive study, we can now confirm that the quantum dampening fields are completely artificial. Someone created these zones on purpose. An alien scientist from the crystalline Vorthak species raised one of its limbs. Dr. Morgan, how old do you estimate these fields to be? Morgan consulted her data. Based on our analysis, these quantum dampening fields were created approximately 10 million years ago. Someone with incredibly advanced technology deliberately built them as refuges from quantum-based warfare. A collective gasp went through the alien scientists. 10 million years ago, their current civilizations didn't even exist. Some ancient species have foreseen the development of quantum weapons and created safe zones to protect life from that technology. It appears, Morgan continued, that whoever built these zones understood that over-reliance on quantum technology could become a weakness. They created regions where only the most basic forms of technology would function. Captain Ryan Stone, now promoted to admiral and commanding humanity's New Frontier Fleet, found himself in an even stranger situation. He was standing before the Galactic Confederation Council, addressing representatives from hundreds of alien species. 6 months ago, most of them had never heard of humanity. Now they were listening carefully to every word he said. Honorable members of the Confederation, Stone began, his voice carrying to every corner of the vast assembly hall. Humanity extends an offer of friendship and trade to any species willing to coexist peacefully. We've proven that sometimes the oldest and simplest solutions are the most reliable ones. The council chamber buzzed with translated conversations as aliens discussed this unprecedented situation. Never before had a primitive species defeated an advanced one so decisively. Captain Zethkora of the Vorthak stood to address the assembly. His crystalline form caught the light as he spoke. Honored delegates, for 3,000 years our species have avoided the quantum null regions, calling them dead zones. Humanity has shown us the truth. These zones are not dead. They are immune systems, protecting life from our own technological dependencies. His words carried weight throughout the chamber. The Vorthak were one of the most respected scientific species in the galaxy, and their endorsement of humanity meant everything. Admiral Davis, monitoring the proceedings from Earth, reviewed reports coming in from across known space. The news was better than she had dared hope. Aggressive species that had been expanding their territories were suddenly pulling back their fleets. The warlike Hive Collective had retreated to their core worlds and ceased all military operations. Even the predatory Void Hunters were avoiding systems that might bring them into conflict with humans. Word was spreading that humanity could operate effectively in regions where advanced alien technology failed. No species wanted to risk a confrontation in areas where their weapons might not work. Dr. Lisa Chen, now Earth's chief xenologist, published a final report on the implications of first contact. The galaxy has learned a fundamental lesson, she wrote. Evolution doesn't always mean greater complexity. Sometimes a species that survives is the one that builds everything from the ground up using simple tools and pure determination. Human exploration ships pushed deeper into previously forbidden regions of space. Each dead zone they entered became a potential sanctuary for humanity. Colonies were established on worlds that aliens had never even visited. Trade routes opened through space that had been empty for millennia. The galaxy would never be the same. For the first time in thousands of years, the most advanced civilizations were not the most powerful. Humanity had shown that sometimes being primitive was the greatest advantage of all. Across the stars, the age of human expansion had begun.